नमस्कार दर्शक मित्रों। थिंकलाइन के आज के नए संस्करण में आपका फिर से स्वागत है। आज हम बात करेंगे फिर से डॉक्टर आदित्यन जी से जियोपॉलिटिक्स की, और जियोपॉलिटिक्स इन एंड अराउंड इंडिया, क्योंकि ईस्टर्न साइड में भी खेल हो रहा है, वेस्टर्न साइड में तो खेल हो ही रहा है। ऊपर से कहीं खेल ना हो जाए, बात हम करेंगे। साथ साथ में ये दोनों का कोरिलेशन कुछ हो सकता है क्या, उसके साथ में हम ये भी जानने की कोशिश करेंगे कि क्या इनका कुछ ताल्लुक भारत के अंदरूनी मामलात से है। इज देयर अ डेफिनेट कनेक्शन with the matters in India, especially West Bengal, which doesn't seem like a rape and a murder leads to a huge protest. But then West Bengal and East Bengal, Bangladesh, people do get worried. And let me tell you something, friends. Initially, they were K2 project, Khalistan and Kashmir. Now it's B2 project, Bangladesh and Balochistan. People have been talking of theories. What are these theories? And how does this so-called Gehra Rajya, Pak kam karte rehte hai, deep state and all that, how does the US respond to everything? Sheikh Hasina comes out and blurts कि उन्होंने कुछ मांगा, हमने देने से मना कर दिया, तो ये रिजीम चेंज हो गया। उन्होंने सेंट मार्टिन आइलैंड मांगा, आज महीना भर होने जा रहा है। आज बांग्लादेश में जो हालत है, देखने से तो डर लगता है। What is this happening? In such scenario, what are the things that are going on? How are these critical months going to pass? And whether it's going to ease with the elections in US presidential race? नवंबर दिसंबर के बाद सब ठीक होगा। और मजे की बात यह, इन सब के बीच में हमारे प्रधानमंत्री चले जाते हैं यूक्रेन। वहां दिस क्लाउन Zelensky speaks so many things, but still India goes as a facilitator. That's what we say. Well, where all this will go, whether there will be an armistice, because peace doesn't seem likely. What are the denominations? What are the permutations and combinations? We need to know this. और इसी के लिए आज हमारे साथ डॉक्टर आदित्यन जी बैठे हुए हैं। डॉक्टर साहब, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। फ्लोर आपको यील्ड करूं, पहले पूछूं ये सर, ये जियोपॉलिटिक्स इन एंड अराउंड इंडिया, ईस्टर्न साइड, वेस्टर्न साइड, व्हाट्स हैपनिंग?
I think there was a thinker and an academician, Francis Fukuyama, who famously said, history ceases to exist after the end of the Cold War. Everything would be hunky-dory. There won't be any major events. So now you learn that in and around Bharat also, things are happening and they continue to happen. There's no vacuum as far as geopolitics is concerned. What is happening in Bangladesh is a unfolding of a long trajectory. I am very fond of going back to history. It was predictable and it was predicted. Bangladesh is now an eastern version of Talibanized Pakistan. It was East Pakistan, only the language was different, culture was a little bit different, but religion is the same, predominant religion. Starting as a secular republic, having a military coup within 3 years of establishment of independent Bangladesh, that tells you multiple military coups, alliance of military dictators with jihadi elements, an alliance of so-called democratic political parties that were vestiges of military coups, at least two of them, with jihadi elements, change of the constitution, change of the name of the country to Islamic Republic of Bangladesh, Bangladesh joining D8 along with other Islamic countries as a pressure bloc. And now it's everything in open. So-called secular economist, Nobel Peace Laureate, distinguishes himself by releasing a terrorist, jihadi terrorist. The opposition party, the former opposition party, BNP, is now demanding extradition of Sheikh Hasina from India and stating that there will be repercussions on bilateral ties. And at the same time, again, with a D8 partner, Malaysia, Muhammad Yunus demands maneuvers so that Bangladesh becomes part of ASEAN.
बांग्लादेश becomes part of ASEAन. दर्शक मित्रों सुनिएगा, ये नई बात हो रही है. डॉक्टर साहब जो बता रहे हैं 30 दिनों में शायद आपने नहीं सुना. अजीत देसाई, आपको वेलकम करता हूं. आप जुड़े हुए हैं. आपकी कमेंट, भारत has survived because of Sanatan civilization. That's what he says. My friend, that's true. But then what happens is, Sanatan has been living from years, thousands and thousands of years. Dr. Saab will tell you that. Nobody is able to dent that. But this skirmishes, eastern border, western border, and the bulk Talibanization, as he said, of Bangladesh, is going to play a big role. Right now, it's flooding.
I think people in Bharat should not be complacent. The country has shrunk in size. Just remember that. Don't have false sense of complacencies. Civilizations don't die, they commit suicide. And we had great examples of very cognitively advanced civilizations like Mayas and Incas that are nowhere to be seen. The great Persian civilization, within 40 years, there was no vestiges of Persian civilization. It's all now Islamic country in Iran. So to our viewers, as well as our policy planners, my request is don't be complacent. It's only the strength that survives you in the long run, in history. We are witnessing crude, blatant jihadization of Bangladesh's civic polity when the ruler of the country or designated ruler of the country, the so-called chief advisor to the military establishment, releases a jihadi terrorist openly. That is significant. Slogans are being raised in Bangladesh, we are Baba, we are going to get 7 sisters. Time and again, and this is nothing new, Suhrawardi wanted actually a united Bengal prior to partition and transfer of power.
Yes.
Socialist Islamic leaders like Colonel Gaddafi talked about Bangladesh spreading its tentacle into northeast of India. And I must say, some of our romanticized Bhadralok politicians from the leftist variety
Of West Bengal, especially, we are talking in terms of.
Yeah, talked about United Socialist Bengal. And at this point in time, the Chief Minister of Bengal is talking the same language. And you did mention this very unfortunate incident, which I will call murder and rape of the cops, not rape and murder.
Okay. Okay.
There are different viewpoints. There was something deeper going on. It's not just, it's being portrayed and one person has been implicated, but that is just a sacrificial lamb in the greater scheme of things. The junior doctor was killed, brutally killed, and the person who is a habitual criminal and deviant guy was told to do certain things to the cops. So there are things, and you have the chutzpah and the audacity of the chief minister of Bengal to write to prime minister that quote unquote incidents of rape are increasing in Bharat, and what the central government is doing, they need to bring a law, as if we do not have enough laws. In Hindi, there is a saying, chori or sina zori. That is what is happening. I think the central government is making a mistake by not taking a stern stand. There is need to take some central government action with what is happening in West Bengal. Don't be paralyzed by fear of the Supreme Court. Don't be paralyzed in the Kurukshetra of geopolitics. It will have long-standing consequences. You need to assert, because what's happening in Bangladesh is affecting what's happening in West Bengal. The ruling party politicians in West Bengal are getting away with a, crime, and are continuing to perpetuate the crime, and central government is just watching helplessly. When situation comes to the level that the president of the republic says that I'm anguished and distressed with what is happening in West Bengal and how women are being treated, and central government can only say that we want speedy implementation of the case, speedy decision making in the cases. That tells you what is happening. The central government needs to take action. I'm not going to tell them what action, but they need to take action.
Central government needs to take action in Bharat, in India. That's one thing. Action you will see also in coming 7 days. It looks like. The indications are such. बट दोस्तों, उससे पहले आगे जाने से पहले एक बड़ा पर्टिनेंट क्वेश्चन मैं आज पूछने वाला हूं. डॉक्टर साहब बैठे हैं यूएस के अंदर, मैं बैठा हूं यहाँ इंडिया में. मैं उनसे एक पर्टिनेंट सवाल इसलिए पूछने वाला हूं कि वो सालों से यूएस में है. और पूछूं उससे पहले, प्लीज लाइक एंड शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब. मैं भूल जाता हूं, पूरे 45 मिनट में 2 बार भी नहीं कहता. और लोग कहते हैं कि आप तो कुछ मांगते ही नहीं. मैं बोला नहीं भाई, मैं मांगता नहीं हूं. ब्राह्मण होते हैं ना, याचक होते हैं, मगर मांगना ब्राह्मण को नहीं आता. चीज समझिए. तो प्लीज लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब. साथ में माय क्वेश्चन टू डॉक्टर साहब इज, why is it that what you call everything USA does on the name of democracy? They say the democracy should be there, but why is it that everywhere across the world they support only the dictators? You take up umpteen number of examples. You see Saddam Hussein before he was made a mass murderer. You see Idi Amin. You see Pakistan. You see anywhere across the world, and so-called democratic regime of United States of America, superpower, supports only the dictators. And they lead to chaos and anarchy. Unfortunately, this time it is in and around India. On one side, Pakistan, on one side, Bangladesh. Probably something else is coming up in Indonesia also. Dr. Saab, why is it that they do that?
So, I think despite our, quote unquote aspirations, democratic credentials, in geopolitics, things are very brutal. The unwritten law is might is right. United States is the leading hyperpower. I won't even say superpower. Is a hyperpower. Their military base is 800 outside the country. There is nothing new. When you want to perpetuate your power, by hook or by crook. So here they are using the deception, art of deception. And all great powers have exercised art of deception. you know. So they are using the art of deception, the facade of democracy, the fig leaf of democracy to hide their own actions. Even in United States, the democracy is not perfect. In any country, one would say that the doctrine of one person, one vote being important and every vote being counted is important. It does not happen that way in United States. The way the president is elected, it is smoke-filled back rooms of electoral college that decide the outcome, not how many votes did you get. So it's a flawed democracy. It's, gerontocracy at the best at this point in time. Money can buy anything. Billions of dollars are spent. But, ostensibly, it's a federation of states, United States, 50 states, some federal territories, and president governs, but states have autonomy. What you have talked about, Dirgh Rajya or deep state, is also a reality.
Gahara Rajya.
What tends to happen that president may change every 4 years or every 8 years or whatever. The deep state is entrenched. Again, there are.
अच्छा लोगों को ये भी बता दीजिए आप, डीप स्टेट है क्या?
It's a conglomeration of agencies that are part of the government. They are funded by the government, but they do exercise enormous amount of power, both domestically as well as internationally. And the aim is to perpetuate the hegemony of United States, but it is couched in very nice terms: democracy, human rights, free trade, fair trade, free and balanced trade, labor standards, environmental concerns. All those, woke philosophies are invoked. But when push comes to shove, you know what happens. I don't have to remind you the latest history. You have similar art of deception in Chinese state. So all empires do that, use deception. In Islamic world, when caliphate was there, and it is still the doctrine of al-taqiyya, which is deception, blatant deception. So I don't want to single out United States, but I think for a thinking person, you should know the truth. United States couches in very, very different terms the doctrine of American exceptionalism, that we are always right, come what may. We may commit war crimes in Iraq or Afghanistan. We will punish them, but inquiry takes 15 odd years and everyone gets acquitted.
Sir, we are always right. Americanism, यहाँ आपको रोक के मैं पूछूंगा सर, we are always right. Do we, that is United States, has a base, air base, which they seek for, or a lily pad which they seek for in Balochistan? And that's why Balochistan will be practically broken away from Pakistan. If not broken away in technical terms, autonomous region. Because that's what it seems like,
I would not pay much attention to United States at this point in time in Balochistan. Balochistan problem is long-standing. It's the internal contradiction in the state of Pakistan. Pakistan as a state is imploding. Baloch people are very angry that they were forcibly occupied by Pakistan. A part of this province is in Iran, the Sistan Baluchistan part of Iran. So the deep state agencies may be active there. That is actually not at this point in time a priority for the deep state. Mind you, there's already Chinese base in Baluchistan. And what is happening is a spontaneous internal uprising, a rebellion, a Baloch rebellion.
This Baloch rebellion, I don't say no, sir. I don't say no to the Baloch rebellion. Let me tell you, dosto, 44% area hai, 44% area land mass with just 4% of population. And Baloch are up in arms. They are against the Pakistani army. And they are fighting a very gallant battle. But then the question comes strategically, sir. My question is followed to that. How is it that now they are rebelling, all right, but then how is it that precisely Balochistan, that is Baloch army, a Majid brigade like, they are able to do what they were able to do 10 days ago to Pakistani army? How does it get the information? How does it get, so there is some tactical planning, there is some tactical partnership which is taking place somewhere down the road. It could be Israel, it could be USA, it could be anyone. And otherwise killing 120 Pakistani soldiers, taking over a region for 2 days and then walking out. Sir, it has not happened in the Baloch history actually.
So
There's something
130
happening.
Pakistani military personnel were killed, 40 Punjabi civilians were killed. There were attacks on army camps in Balochistan. The region is basically known to Baloch people. And since the occupation of Balochistan in 1948, in one form or the other, the Baloch resistance has survived. They attacked the Bela camp in Balochistan. They blocked the national highways in Loralai, CV, Kalat, Quetta,
8
Karachi.
highways were blocked. All 8 national highways going in Balochistan were blocked.
So it's a question of basically having the capability over a period of time and activating their, sort of military might, because Pakistani army is not organically linked with Bhumiputras, the sons of the soil. They have a disadvantage. All Baloch people have an internal network of information gathering and information passing because they are Baloch.
And how about high-end weapons?
Yes, those are smuggled. Those are smuggled everywhere. I mean, you have high-end weapons being smuggled in Bharat also. Chinese-made weapons are all the time seen in Jammu and Kashmir region. In Northeast India, when the rebel movements were active, you had high-end weapons coming from abroad, and even with the domestic terrorists, sometimes you find, uh, these automatic, revolvers and guns that are high-end. So there is a huge arm trade here, and yes, certain countries benefit from that. I don't want to go into specifics, but I'm trying to legitimize the Baloch resistance by saying that it is an indigenous resistance.
Yes, fine.
It is an
Indigenous.
indigenous resistance. Baloch people are sacrificing quite a lot. Baloch people are, unlike other Muslim societies, somewhat secular. They are tolerating the existence of Hindu Baloch people. They are not ransacking and vandalizing the Hingala Raj Mata Mandir, which is
Yeah,
one of the
English.
Shakti Peeths. They are trying to seek good relations with Bharat. And it's a matter of time, an occupying army, how long it can continue to occupy. Pakistan's situation in Balochistan is analogous to China's situation in Tibet. Both are occupying armies, and these territories were not part of the original country as it was created. When Pakistan was carved out of Bharat, Balochistan, the Khanates of Balochistan, the two states, were not part of Pakistan. They were forcibly acquired by the Punjabi army. So there is a lot of resistance, and yes, when there's an indigenous resistance, there's always some external help weapons are procured from abroad. It happened in Bangladesh in 71. Mukti Bahini did not liberate Bangladesh. Indian Army did. So all I'm trying to say is that it may not be so much of the influence of the deep state. Having said that, I would not preclude the possibility of United States or the deep state of United States playing double game. They are known to do that all the time. In Iran-Iraq war, initially they were supporting both the sides. They provide arms to both the sides all the time. Right now, they are selling billions of dollars of arms to Bharat, but on the other hand, they give sustenance package for F-16 fighter jets to Pakistan also. It's not a question of which side. It's a question of how we achieve our goals. And this is exactly what China is doing in Myanmar, that it is arming all the sides, including military junta. So these are time-tested techniques. In Bharat, we are naive. We don't understand the brutal geopolitics. Just a word of advice, our forefathers always wrote, Veera Bhogya Vasundhara. Okay. So you have to be strong. And if you want to exist and survive, you have to be victor. You have to be victorious. And it's only the brave who are victorious. Otherwise, you get eliminated.
So my last question it comes with that, what you said, brutal geopolitics. Sir, to this brutal geopolitics, Indian government, especially Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, Dr. Jaishankar, and Narendra Modi too, and his men, and Kshatras. Modi says anywhere across the world he goes, he says, I am from the land of Buddha and Gandhi. But his satraps here in India, be it the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, be it Assam, be it Madhya Pradesh, be it Chhattisgarh, be it anyone, BJP ruled states, they always say Ram. So the politics of good cop, bad cop is going on one side. On the other side, in the brutal world of geopolitics, some brutally honest answers have been given by Bharat, India, for the first time in the form of Dr. S. Jaishankar.
It is true. There is a strategic analyst by name Brahmachalyani in year 2000. He said there are some hard states and there are some soft states. But India is not even a soft state. India is a lamb state. India is a lamb state because it's taken for the slaughter by everyone. We had a terrorist attack on the parliament of Bharat. Nothing was done. There were no consequences. So I think there's a gradual realization that, offering the other cheek when somebody slaps you is not the answer. You need to punish that hand that slapped you. And I'm choosing my words very carefully. Punish the hands. I'm not saying what to do. I'm just saying punish the hand that slaps you. Don't offer the other cheek. That's how nations survive, nation states survive in the long run. I would advise you and your viewers to read an article written by me called Doctrine of Indian Exceptionalism. And I think that will clarify that, yes, there is no contradiction in our very advanced cognitively very advanced philosophy as a civilization and using force to defend it. And this is exactly what Lord Krishna said. Klaivyam masm gamah parth naitat vayupapadyate shudram hridaya daurabalyam tyaktotishta parantapa. People who are governing cannot be paralyzed by fear, cannot be impotent, after giving this softness, you have to wield the weapons and you have to be emerge victorious. Otherwise, you'll be slaughtered. And I think that's an important lesson to learn from history. For Bharat as a nation state to survive and not just rest on the glory and laurels of our past, we have to continue to defend it. Defend in all possible ways. Because it's only the victors who write the history. And you have to, in order to write the history, you have to emerge victorious. Whether it is in India's near abroad or in larger context. Yes, you do not covet other people's land, but you have to repossess the stolen land.
Repossess the stolen land. कटोगे तो बटोगे. देखिए ये बातें जो आ रही है ना सब, बहुत दूरोगामी असर से आ रही है. 1000, 2000 साल, 500 साल के, 5000 साल के विजडम से आ रही है. Reclaim the land. Dr. Saab very clearly said, what was rightfully yours, you need to reclaim it. Whether it will be in the form of a chicken neck spreading out, whether it can be on the name of some separate state being created out of Pakistan, whether it can be POK, whether it can be someone, trying to create a nuisance in South, taught a lesson. Anything could happen. But Dr. Saab, in the end, when I chose this subject, in geopolitics in and around Bharat, and how we are getting affected. And as I said, I certainly do believe there are a lot of people who believe that this coming 3-4 months are going to be really crucial as far as Bharat is concerned. Till the US elections. Once the elections are over, maybe things could cool down. But till then, there's going to be a lot of turmoil and churn that's going on.
I would caution you that, that is somewhat misplaced. The deep state is active irrespective of elections, whatever may happen. So that is a permanent thing. US interests are permanent, and US interest is permanent. It does not matter who rules the country. And even if elections are held, there are two possibilities. There's no third possibility. Either Donald Trump comes or Kamala Devi. Now, if Kamala Devi comes, it is continuation of the same regime. If Donald Trump comes, less said the better. He's not interested in projection of American power as much as economic issues and domestic issues. So in that sense, he may not take any adventurous external aggression, but he also did certain things. The Iranian general Soleiman Qasemi was assassinated under his watch. And that's why Islamic Republic of Iran has issued kind of, warning for him. What I'm trying to say that US deep state's influence will be there. It is always there. I don't think that situation will cool down for Bharat after November 5th. It would be a short-sighted viewpoint. You have to be eternally vigilant, because the external influence is not coming from deep state of United States alone. There's all pervading and all increasing Chinese influence also. Now you have these two superpowers that have comprehensive national strength, much above Bharat's comprehensive national strength. One is far away, but is able to influence the geopolitical events easily because of the network. The other is next door and spreading the tentacles. It's a question of which, not which, it's a question of both. Both have nefarious activities, and any government of India needs to pay attention to both. You cannot be on side of one or the side of the other. You have to make tactical alliances with one or the other, issue-based alliance, while safeguarding your sovereignty, safeguarding your interests. So I think it would be misplaced to say that everything will cool down after November the 5th, because Chinese influence will still be there, and the deep state will still be there. So the cosmetics may change a little bit, but all the threats that you are witnessing will still be there. So just don't be complacent after November 5th that we can sleep well. No, it's not going to happen like that. That's not how geopolitics operates. Events happen very unexpectedly. Who did conceive that after getting 3/4 majority in January 6th elections, Sheikh Hasina will be uprooted by her own cousin, the military man? In fact, warnings were given to her
And
that
she was not ready to listen. Yes.
his intentions are not very good. She disregarded and chose him. And now you know the history. So we cannot be very complacent.
दर्शक मित्रों, सुना आपने? We cannot be complacent. ये जो बात है ना, 4 महीने में सब ठीक हो जाएगा. This churn will go on because it's the world order changing. Always sees this churn, and every 70, 80 years, 100 years, you are going to find these things happening. So the deep state easing out or a dragon easing its tentacles are not going to happen. Geopolitics in and around India will keep getting busier and busier and realpolitik. Now, today, let me coin that term, realpolitik. Geopolitik for us is going to be a realpolitik and a test of time. And that's why when Yogi ji says, katoge to batoge, ek hoke rahoge.
कटोगे तो कटोगे, बटोगे तो कटोगे,
बटोगे तो कटोगे. अगर बिखर गए, बट गए, जो लोग आपको करना चाहते हैं ना, बहुत से लोग करना चाहते हैं. कोई जाति में, तू राजपूत है, मैं बनिया हूं, तू ब्राह्मण है, मैं क्षुद्र हूं. ये जो बातें हैं ना, उसे भूल जाइए. याद रखिए, भारतीय है.
देखिए
और
हिमांशु जी,
अच्छा,
मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ कि भाषा का अंतर बहुत होता है. अब योगी जी से जैसे बोलते हैं बटोगे तो कटोगे, तो लोग इसको बहुत ही तुच्छ और निकृष्ट भाषा मानते हैं.
सर, ये
हमारे
प्रैक्टिकल भाषा है.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, मैं आपको जरा बता रहा हूँ, उदाहरण दे रहा हूँ कि जो हमारे जो दिग्गज नेता हैं वोक फिलॉसफी के, अगर वही बात मैं कहूँ, यूनाइटेड वी स्टैंड, डिवाइडेड वी फॉल, इट्स
यही बात है.
टोटली एक्सेप्टेबल. It's a question of language. There is a Bhumiputra, a son of soil, using the dialect of the soil, saying a very important thing. And we make fun of that. Batoge to katoge. But if I from this platform say, united we stand, divided we fall, what an aspirational statement. That's the irony.
मित्रों, सुना तुमने? एक ने बोल दिया, यूनाइटेड वी स्टैंड, डिवाइडेड वी फॉल. तालियां बज गई. मगर किसी ने कहा, बटोगे तो कटोगे. लोग बोलते हैं, ये क्या भाषा बोल. यही बात होता है नरेटिव का. और इसीलिए आप जो भी सुने, हर चीज को सच्चा मत मानिए. अपने आप एक्सपीरियंस करिए. और मैंने ये सब्जेक्ट शायद इसीलिए सुना था, बिकॉज ये सब्जेक्ट है 40 मिनट में खत्म नहीं होगा. इसका एक पार्ट 2 हम करेंगे अगले हफ्ते, डॉक्टर साहब के साथ ही. उसमें काफी और बातें करेंगे. मगर मैंने जो ये मुद्दे उठाए हैं ना, ईस्ट का, वेस्ट का, उसकी वजह कुछ कुछ ये है कि बहुत से लोग ऐसा बोला करते हैं कि हम सब एक ही डीएनए में से आते हैं, हम सब एक ही लोग हैं, एक ही ये करते हैं. इनकी बात हम दूसरे दूसरे भाग में करेंगे. मैं सवाल उठाऊंगा उसका, क्या हम एक है? मुद्दे का सवाल. ऐसा क्यों है कि भारत में रहने वाले, इंडिया में रहने वाले लोग ऐसी कत्लेआम कत्लो गैरत नहीं करते। और कुछ हिस्से में, भारत के अगल बगल के हिस्से में ये हो जाता है, बिना सोचे समझे हो जाता है। And the moot question which we are going to discuss next week is going to be, are we looking at the of Southeast Asia, a further balkanization? Because indications are not good in Myanmar, indications are not good in Bangladesh, indications are not good in Pakistan. And maybe, who knows, Afghans are ever ready for everything. Expansionism also, curtailism also, balkanization also. So we'll talk of all these things and think on it on a practical sense. What could happen in such a situation when united we stand, as Dr. Saab says, बटोगे तो कटोगे, मैं कहता हूं, बिकॉज ये भाषा मुझे समझ में आती है, वो हाईफंडा भाषा मेरी समझ में नहीं आती, क्योंकि सीधी सादी बात है, 140 करोड़ भारतीयों में से 100-125 करोड़ भारतीयों को यही भाषा समझ में आती है कि बढ़ जाओगे तो तुम कट जाओगे भैया। और जब ये एक योगी बोलता है ना, तो उसे सुनना पड़ता है। इसीलिए जब मोदी जी विदेशों में, विश्व में जाके बोलते हैं मैं बुद्ध और गांधी के देश से आता हूं, तो लोग उन्हें सुनते हैं। मगर वही मोदी जी के लोग जब यहां पर आके कहते हैं, क्षत्रप आके कहते हैं कि मैं कृष्णवंशी यदुवंश का हूं, कंस वंशी नहीं, मोहन यादव, तब लोगों की समझ में आता है कि हम सही अर्थ में पॉलिटिक्स खेलना सीख गए हैं, या सीख रहे हैं जल्दी जल्दी। इसी बात के साथ 1 मिनट डॉक्टर आदित्य जी को, एंड देन विल रैप अप दिस प्रोग्राम। सर,
Despite whatever happens, I remain very optimistic about the future of Bharat. Yes, there will be problems, but there will be leadership that will tackle all the challenges. And this is not overconfidence. This is a deep assessment of Bharat as a nation state, the churnings that have been going on, and how the common person, the son of the soil, is trying to understand what is his inherent strength. So despite all the negative influences, I am very optimistic that Bharat will continue to be strong and will, continue to play an important role in geopolitics internationally. The only thing is that price of freedom is eternal vigilance. So don't be complacent.
that's it, मित्रों, सुना, डोंट बी कॉम्प्लेसेंट। जाते जाते आपसे फिर से वही अपील, प्लीज लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब। Subscribe to our videos. If you want to contribute, you have the details in the description. So I'm not going to say much, but we do need your contribution. We do need your support. So please. और अगले हफ्ते फिर से डॉक्टर साहब के साथ हम बात करेंगे इसी विषय पर, जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि सेकंड पार्ट ऑफ द जियोपॉलिटिक्स इन एंड अराउंड इंडिया। टिल देन, हाँ, बीच में कुछ और लेके आएंगे, दूसरा कोई विषय हम आपसे, मगर तब तक हमें इजाजत दीजिए प्लीज। थैंक यू। जय हिंद, जय भारत। डॉक्टर साहब, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Namaskar.